Here we are.
Another month. They just keep coming along.
The last day of February.
It's my
Our
fault.
record is intact.
It's my fault. We tried to push it back, but I'm grateful for your flexibility. And yeah, it's great. And it gave it time for the weather in Dayton, Ohio to turn beautiful. So it's a beautiful spring day here, and I am glowing.
We're so happy for you.
Yeah. Just stick it in our eye. Just
How is it in Boise?
yeah, you know how it is. It's freezing cold here.
Cloudy.
Overcast. We might get to some of that in some of our haikus today. Who knows? So let's see here. I've got this kind of teed up for us. As always, can you all see can you see that? Okay. February 22nd, and just of note, this is our 22nd. So this is the twos month, 2/2/22, February 22, and number 22.
22.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
It really is.
Huh.
Almost 2 years in a couple months. That'll be amazing.
And that's just the recording part.
Yeah.
So we have haikus, and I think I've got everybody's here. I've got Amy's, and I've got Davin's, and only one side Amy, I think, this time.
Yeah.
Davin's, beautiful pictures, and then me. So why don't we start? Who wants to go first? Amy?
Why don't I go first?
Okay, Doug.
All right. I'm going to read it from the screen, so don't take it away just yet. My
Okay.
haiku this month was nature studies us. Look up. See Orion shine from the beginning.
And then you want to read the verse too?
Oh, sure, I can. He who made I don't know how to say this word, Pleiades and Orion, and turns deep darkness into the morning and darkens the day into night. Amos 5:8.
And significantly, you did the haiku and the art there.
And the art, I was inspired by Michael last time telling us about what was the practice of the art that goes with the haiku. So I did my little thing.
You guys are amazing. I love working with you. It's beautiful.
It
Thank
is
you.
beautiful.
All
I
right.
want to learn more about it.
All right. So I should read mine.
You should.
All right. People need nature without a doubt. The ubiquitous blue zone research consistently affirms that people live longest and best when, among other things, they spend time in nature. It makes sense, of course. We are part of nature in spite of our insistence on waging war against her at every possible turn. We insulate ourselves from nature's violent vicissitudes with well-built and insulated homes, with insurance policies, and with technology. So much so that we can sometimes imagine ourselves somehow separate from nature. This also makes sense. Nature can be scary as hell. The comfort of Amy's poem is the consistency of nature. It is steady in that it is always there. It was there way before we arrived, and it will be there long after we are gone. The starry night sky is a constant reminder that there is so much more happening than we can see at any given time, and that our late assignment or stress-filled meeting is of little concern in the big picture. Thank you, Amy.
I love what you wrote, and you caught part of my response to Michael's haiku that we'll see later. There's such a good synergy, I thought, this month. So thank you.
As it is every month. So I can spell vicissitudes if I have spell check. That's about it.
I had to look it up.
Yeah, but it's a great word. It's a great word. Okay, Amy's haiku. Yeah, you see my little ghost dog?
Yeah.
You might hear barking if a post person comes by. To me, this is a settling poem, which recognizes that we humans are but a footprint on the long path of creation. The beauty of the stars we see today have been shining since the Big Bang. Their light will continue until the next Big Bang, or until whatever comes next. I won't be here to see it, but I'm certainly here to see the majesty of the stars right now. Amy supports this haiku with Amos 5:8, and the words of this verse juxtapose the infinity of the material world, the constellations and the dark matter, with the eternity of the divine, and in particular, the eternal cycle of light and dark, day and night. Amen.
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 All right. I'm not sure where I read Amos 5:8. It might have been in the morning office from the Book of Common Prayer, something I try and read most days. I don't know. I do not know. I do know that when I read Amos 5:8, it stopped me. Somehow the stars and constellations have always seemed separate from scripture, yet Orion is tucked into Amos, ancient calling to modern, reminding us of our shared earthbound experience. Orion has always been my favorite constellation. Under starry skies, I always look for Orion's belt, those 3 stars that align. When I lived in China, we didn't often see stars. Stars are hard to spot in cities with millions of people and an equal number, if not more, electric light bulbs. Yet I have a few memories that stand out of looking into the night sky on the other side of the planet and finding Orion. Living in China, the sky provided a surprising anchor. There was something powerful knowing the sunlight from the sunrise had just been hours before shining over my homeland and family. We were on the same planet, despite miles and oceans, sharing the same light, stars and moon. Sun, moon, stars close any perceived distance. Orion the warrior was familiar in a place that was oh so unfamiliar. Nature studies us. When confusion, war, and rumors of war close in and upset our fragile equilibrium, we look to the stars, to the moon. We see an unchanging truth. The person who wrote Amos knew the very same stars I know. Orion with his belt orients and anchors our fragile human hearts.
That's beautiful. And just so I didn't write about this, but I had the exact same thought. I read that in Amos and I thought, I've never read that in Amos, by the way. It was the first that I had encountered that. So thank you. Mm-hmm. And then also just to make that connection between the ancient Hebrew scriptures and the constellations, which, I had never really done that before. So
yeah, wasn't it surprising? It caught me so off guard. I loved it.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
So how long were you in China and what were you doing there?
I lived in China for a year right after I graduated from college, and I taught English at a Chinese university. 22-year-olds teaching in a Chinese university makes total sense.
I think it's awesome. My grandson majored in Japanese, and we're hoping that he'll find some time to actually spend in Japan, because I think those are life-changing experiences, or they change your perspective forever, no matter what.
They're so good. I was telling my kids just the other day, you need to live overseas, period. It's part of being a person, I think. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And you did the artwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I use Procreate on my iPad.
Oh, nice. I was going to ask you, it was like a watercolor or something like that, but you did it electronically.
It was digital. Yeah. Digital art.
Awesome.
That's great.
Like that. Procreate.
That's great.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sharing the screen again. And who's next?
I think Davin.
There I am. All right. As you said last month, Amy, I don't always give it a title, but this one seemed like it deserved it. In God's image. Imago Dei, 3 in 1, unity, love, us, with eyes that see.
And there's the other picture that came with it. So I'm sure we'll come back around to that here pretty quick. So Amy, you or me?
Doesn't matter. Do you want me to go?
Sure.
All right. Tucked into the corner of Davin's haiku, I noticed a 3-petaled white flower. Is that a trillium, I wondered? Followed closely by, is trillium even a flower? Followed by, how do I know anything about any of this? Yes, the 3 white triangle-shaped petals are a trillium, at least according to my research. Trillium is a flower that symbolizes the Trinity for Christians and precision and elegance more broadly. It's the official flower of Ohio and Ontario and is illegal to pick in many places. This month, the haiku trios are a reminder of the stars that steady us, silent fall snowing that quiets us, and 3-petaled white flowers to remind us of community, unity, and love. Imago Dei is the word that describes the unique relationship between humankind and God, the mutual reflection of image. I learned of the term Imago Dei when I worked in the heart of Los Angeles Skid Row district. Imago Dei is at once so hard to find in the crush of human souls on the street and profoundly present. Hopelessness and hope are palpable there in different measures on any given hour. During the first few months that I worked at the Union Rescue Mission, at the time the largest homeless shelter in the US, I would eat my lunch on the roof. It was usually sunny and bright with a gentle breeze, the hum of the city all around. I would stand at the edge and watch San Julian Street below. From the prairies of Idaho, San Julian Street was maybe the farthest I had ever been from the peace and tranquility of grass and green fields. And yet, in the despair that could be felt, there were always small glimmers of hope. There was grace and dignity. There were hugs and elegant conversations, 3 in 1. The tension of opposites held in unity. May we indeed have eyes to see.
You caught that. You hit the nail on the head. So tell me about your work in the homeless shelter quickly. I love this. I learned so much about you. It's great.
I guess so. We're just like, I didn't actually work with the homeless population. I worked with an organization called Imago that helped provide resources for lots of small community, faith-based service organizations throughout LA. And we would just happen to be centered at the Union Rescue Mission. But, I was on Skid Row every single day interacting. So I was only there for a year, but it was a very impactful year.
You're like an onion, Amy, just peeling back the layers.
Never know.
Love it.
I was just thinking the same thing. You're amazing. I mean, China a year on Skid Row by choice.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but it's amazing. Yeah, I look at you and I think, now there's a 1%er, there's a 1%er, and yet she spent time in China or where. I could not be more impressed.
Thank you.
So I'm used to saying the word Imago Dei. Imago Dei.
I will, I'll empower you to say it however you want.
Oh, really?
I'm sure I said it wrong. So
okay, I'm gonna say snaccato. Is that how you pronounce it? I can say it however I want.
Sure.
Snaccato. Davin's haiku is made even more magnificent and meaningful by the images he chose to symbolize the image of God. The 3 petals of one flower bound together in the middle, 3 trees with the sun shining through the middle one, perhaps representing Christ on the cross, and the Trinity icon, based on Genesis 18, 1-8, represents the hospitality of Abraham, visited by 3 angels who would tell him that he and his wife Sarah would soon have a new son. I hope I have this close to right. I have a copy of Rublev's icon representing this moment right here, of which Wikipedia says the painting is full of symbolism and is interpreted as an icon of the Holy Trinity. At the time of Rublev, the Holy Trinity was the embodiment of spiritual unity, peace, harmony, mutual love, and humility. The icon I have right here was given to me by Brian Taylor, who got it for me on a trip to Tajikistan in 2016, and it's one of my prized possessions. Rublev's icon, and I don't think, I could be wrong, it's not the exact, it is the exact. Rublev's icon is also the featured image in Richard Rohr's book, The Divine Dance, The Trinity and Your Transformation. Unity and diversity, the flow that connects all of us, the spirit which imbues and ties together all of life. This is Davin's haiku.
Awesome.
So good.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Yeah, so the icon that's on there, I think is a modern version, a remake of Rublev. It's just got a few differences from the original. So I think it isn't exact though, but it's certainly based on it. All right, my turn, right? Mm-hmm. You've made half of my high bun a bit redundant, but there's enough of a twist here that I think it's worthwhile. The Russian icon pictured here is, I believe, a variation on Andrei Rublev's 15th century painting. As Michael mentioned, it's called the Trinity, and also the Hospitality of Abraham, which is an interesting combination of stories depicting the three angels who visited Abraham at the Oak of Mamre. But again, the symbolism in the painting really, for me, and the reason I used it, as Wikipedia says, and as just important there, it's the embodiment of spiritual unity, peace, harmony, mutual love, and humility. So at a time like this, a time of unprovoked war in the name of the Russian people, a time oozing with suggestions of war based on ethnic unity, it's significant to maintain more authentic and humane visions of unity. The Christian Trinity is one of those visions, the original characterization of unity in diversity, and powerful in its relevance for who we should be as people of God, the Imago Dei. Now, the straw man version of the Imago Dei, straw man meaning flimsily built and hence easily knocked down, is the anthropomorphic, all-seeing, all-knowing, bearded man in the sky. Well, sir, if that's who your God is, I can assure you I don't believe in him either. That's a famous response from a very important person whom I can't recall to a budding atheist in the form of a university student. A much more believable God is captured in the mystery of the Trinity. Just as important, though, is the model it gives for us for who we should try to be. Made in the image of this triune God, we are much more than we can ever imagine, and can be much more than we think is possible. We are meant for unity, peace, harmony, mutual love, and humility. Our dim vision is the challenge. We need eyes to see these things. These kinds of eyes are, of course, not at all about having the right prescription lenses, but instead about openness and love. And so I didn't make any of these. I didn't take the pictures, and of course the icon is not mine, but the three trees and just the radically different images of the Trinity, I found really poignant and meaningful.
I love it.
These pictures are beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, and I love the font. It's just so wonderful. And people watching this video will actually see this, but they're just so wonderful. I've always had a hard time with the Trinity just to get it, and so when I read Richard Rohr's book about the Trinity and the Divine Dance, which uses this Rublev's as kind of the core concept throughout the whole thing, it was really helpful to me. So
awesome. I love that you recognize the trillium, Amy.
I don't even know how I did. That was the weirdest thing. I was like, wait, how do I even know this?
I didn't know it was illegal to pick it.
I mean, that's according to, Google research.
The Trillium police are going to show up on your doorstep if you're not careful. Okay, last and probably certainly least, let's go to, let's see if I can get this to move. So flickering lamplight in the middle of morning, dark and snowy day. And then you can see my little drawing, a flickering lamplight, dark, snowy, cold, brr.
And I love how on my postcard, you had put a little yellow right where the flame should be.
That's like Dorothy's red shoes last month.
Yep.
For that, just as a point of information, I had to do that in black and white. I had to make it a black and white photo. And so when the cards came to me, I took my little yellow highlighter and highlighted the lamp and on each one of the cards. Just because, well, just because,
it added. I noticed it right off.
Very good.
Right.
Very nice. Who goes first?
I'll kick it off.
Okay.
Dark and snowy days are wonderful. The blanket of white, slowing down everything. Cars go slower, people go slower, and the net effect is peacefulness, like a dog curled up by the window for a mid-morning nap. The acoustical effect of snow only adds to the wonderfulness. For a while, every sound is muffled and softened. It's a tragedy of the online world today that snow days will be mostly a thing of the past, as we work from home as often as we need to travel. Dark and snowy days always signal the potential for liberation from obligations and assignments, waking up even earlier than normal to listen for school closures on the radio. Our only hope now is for the power to go out and lose our ability to connect from a distance. That used to happen a lot more too. The power grid is more reliable now than it used to be, I think. With the flickering lamplight, Michael's poem transports me back to my childhood, when snow meant peace and liberation, and a little bit of work shoveling, but that didn't matter very much. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was nice. Thank you very much.
We were on much the same wavelength, I think. How can 17 syllables elicit such knowing? As I pulled Michael's haiku from the envelope and read the words, I was transported, body and soul, to a snowy morning. The light, the feeling, the temperature. There is something magical about a snowy morning. Questions float in the air. How long will it last? What will the roads be like? And since I have school-age kids, will this result in a snow day tomorrow? There is a unique stillness on a snowy morning. A deep, calm stillness settles while the clouds release their flakes. The world slows in deference to the snowflakes. We wait with anticipation, joy, and curiosity at what will happen next. Even in our modern age, try as they might, the weather forecasters can never quite get it entirely right. 100% chance snow at 8 o'clock, for there to be sunshine at 8 and the snow arrives at 1. The snow always has the upper hand. Each of those utterly unique, one-of-a-kind crystal formations that if they land on a warm mitten are gone in a second, have particular power over us. It's not the individual flake, but the combined force. Their delicate nature received in whole can grind communities to a standstill. We live in a time where it's easy to feel separate from nature, and yet the snow reminds us that we are interdependent creatures. We create and we are created. We act and we are acted upon. Snow reminds us to slow down and walk with care.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Such beautiful words.
I, of course, put this haiku together long before the Ukrainian invasion by Russia, but it seems appropriate as I write about it today. This is a black and white picture looking out of our front window at a gray day, a snowy day. Usually those kinds of days are welcome. They are good times to relax into a contemplative state of mind. But on this day, as I wrote the haiku, I felt some of the weight of the world on my shoulders. So many burdens face our collective world, so many. But there is hope. And the flickering light of our candle, the welcome light of our front yard lamp, both of which light automatically when there is no sun, represents hope. The peace that passeth understanding in the midst of and underlying and providing light to at the same time a troubled world.
Perfect.
Yep, that's a good good mic drop moment there for our haiku time.
It is kind of interesting. In the 22 months that we've been doing this in videos, and the longer time we've been doing this, we've been through a pandemic. We've been through 900,000 deaths in our country as a result of the pandemic. We've been through Olympics, which have had their own ups and downs and tragedies, and we've been through a lot. And it's just kind of interesting how our haikus represent the principles that go on beyond all that, and yet they are pertinent to the times in which we live. Just pretty interesting. It's present moment and it's infinity. So
yeah.
I remember after January 6th, the insurrection. I remember it's in my mind that my haiku, or one of our haikus, elicited, some conversation in the Haibun about the insurrection. So yeah, just world-changing events one after the other here.
And how wonderful to spend them with you all.
Right.
Okay, see y'all next month.
Thank you.